Hello, my name is Catherine Rowan, and today I am speaking with Martha Langer. Martha and I have had a few conversations together about essence, and today we're going to be talking about modern beauty trends and how those sometimes can interfere with a person's essence. So we're going to talk about things like, cosmetic procedures, plastic surgery, the coloring of hair, and just to know we're not against any of these things, but some knowledge of essence helps you take a decision on what's right for you.
Totally. It's so nice to be with you and chat about this important topic, Catherine. As I scroll in Instagram and see in the media today how much plastic surgery has become the norm, and how women are so inclined to try to create an appearance of perfection, and wherein the focus lies in what's wrong with me, not what's right with me. And it's my belief and my experience as that the field that we're in, which is color analysis based on essence, personality, spirituality, and inner beauty emanating through ourselves, through our coloring, as we embark on this journey that you and I have done many years ago, we can really feel that when we understand our native essence, our soul's blueprint as expressed through the coloring of our hair, skin, and eyes, we're able to shift the notion of beauty from exterior to interior. And then when we do that, we're able to emanate beauty from the inside out rather than trying to create some version of perfectional beauty on the outside, wherein underneath there's likely still elements of I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I need to be better than I am, wherein our system that we're teaching is the opposite. It's about my inner light is perfect, and I get to express that on the exterior. And when I look in the mirror, I see my goodness and my light. I don't see the imperfections. And that's such a big rewiring from our conditioning, from media models, etc. And I just feel in my heart how much I want to share this knowledge, experiential knowledge with people, so that there's, as I said, the instinct is to see my light, not to see what's wrong.
Yeah, I think what we're advocating here is a shift in mindset. I mean, every culture has its standards of beauty, which often encourage women to use different beauty treatments or approaches which take them, which is like unnatural alterations of appearance in some way. I mean, even if you think like the picture that's coming to mind is like I think the Far Eastern tribes where the women wear the metal rings around their neck to elongate their neck. And like, in the ancient Chinese cultures where they bound the women's feet to make them smaller. And then more recently in Western culture, we've had, I mean, certainly I see it like in the younger generation, because I've got a daughter in her 20s, how different the standards of beauty are now compared to like when we were growing up, because we grew up before there was much emphasis on like fillers, Botox, cosmetic procedures. It was more about, making yourself look good. And yes, people might color their hair, but that was about it. And there's a lot more now where there's a standard of beauty where, certain lip shapes, certain
Yeah.
and to not have any lines showing on your face and things like that. So
Yeah. I mean, the idea that definition creates reality, um, that I practice as a lifestyle. Our definition of things creates our reality. So if we define, lines on our face as ugly or bad, then we project that ugliness and badness onto ourselves. But if we redefine what is beauty and what is ideal, then we can go into, we can move toward a paradigm that feels good and that lives a life of alignment and joy rather than negativity.
Absolutely. And yes, I've just picking up one of your points as well from the beginning. It's just, when we're talking about, somebody's essence, we're talking about a shift from focusing on image to becoming aware of your own essence and how you complement that and even enhance it. So you mentioned the words like inner light. So we're looking, when we're saying essence, we're talking about what doesn't actually age. I mean, of course, we're all going to age. We can't prevent that. But
Mhm.
some of the and procedures, etc., can help people to look younger. But the only reason to want to look younger is because it's a cultural ideal that's been established.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I look at photos of myself from even 5 years ago, like pre-menopause, or, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And I'm like, oh, what a baby. Like I look so young, and I feel like I can see the difference in my skin. But then when I look at a picture of myself now, I actually see more vitality. I see more aliveness and more ownership of self and life wisdom, which again, I've redefined things. So like that is beauty. Like when I look at you right now, like you look so beautiful to me because you're in your essence. You're expressing your essence from the inside out in your clothing and your jewelry and your glasses, the color, the tonality of your glasses. And so what's amazing, like there was a client here yesterday trying on clothes with me, and it was incredible how she came alive when she took off her drab things and then put on highly saturated colors, which is perfect for her essence. And her whole being like lifted up. And when I see that, it actually her some lines and her aging diminishes. She looks like a youthful woman when she's wearing the colors that harmonize who she is and bring out the fleshness of her cheeks properly without it being a distorted color. And when there's like the proper um, um, design principles that work for her being, right? You're her unique being. And it's like, oh, it's just like makes everything better. And so it's just my prayer, just like it was my prayer 25 years ago when I first started teaching yoga. It was my prayer that yoga would become popular so that people would start being happier and working on themselves and being learning about the present moment consciousness. Now it's my prayer that this color concept and essence concept becomes more widespread too, which it's my prayer that this will happen in the world, and perhaps in 10 years it will be the norm
Yeah.
where people will realize that when I wear black it hardens me and I disappear, and when I wear gray it depresses me, and when I wear the wrong red, it makes me look and feel crazy and like not stable. And when I wear my grounding color, I feel stable and non-anxious and non-stressed. And so it's just I just want to say this with you, like it's my prayer that this becomes more mainstream, so that it's my invitation to women worldwide to like, okay, yes, we're conditioned to think that there are things wrong with us, and there's also an inner light that comes, that's from inside, that is revealed through color and design. And it is revealed through following passions and following desires and refraining from obligatory behavior and refraining from inauthentic expression and realities. And so, anyway, I just wanted that just came through like just a prayer for women worldwide that there's a diminishment of the emphasis on external perfection and beauty, which, by the way, when I look at some of the actresses today who have had an enormous amount of work, I have a hard time even looking at them because they look like aliens or robots, not humans.
I think what you're saying is really important. There's a few points I'd like to pick up. So one, for
Yeah,
people who are
thanks.
listening who maybe trying to get their head around what we're saying, I want to pick up the point you made back about your client, that when you put colors on that worked for her, how she came alive.
Mhm.
And I think this is one of the issues, as you say. There's a predominance of black in women's clothing lines, and not every woman looks as elegant in black as they might think they do. It's not an elegant color on anybody. On some people, it is if they've got a lot of black. People. There are some people who can look wonderful in black, but not everybody looks good in black. And as you say, there are certain colors that wash people out, and there are colors that enhance and lift. I mean, it's literally like those colors can give people the facelift that they want. And
Totally.
they're just going to bring a person alive, and it's all about mirroring the pigments that are actually there, and enhancing, framing the face. So I
Yeah.
wonder if people who are watching, like, you can see like Martha's earrings, like they're brown and they're sort of feathery, so it's sort of like mirroring like the feathery bits in her hair, but it's also picking up tones in her eyes, which may not be so obvious on this video,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
is doing that. They're picking up the tones in her eyes. And the green that which she's wearing, also, may not be so obvious because of the coloring on video, but it really goes well with her skin tone, and it provides a bit of contrast with her hair and her eyes.
Yeah.
So, um,
Oh, can I just say, interrupt for one moment?
mhm.
I'm wearing some lipstick and that's all. I'm not wearing any other makeup, no cover up, no eye makeup, nothing. And it's fine. At
Yes,
54, it's fine as long as I'm wearing my colors.
yes,
I don't look better with makeup.
no,
And
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 the other,
it's a fallacy. It can be not that makeup is bad. And if you feel good in makeup, great. But just to know that the reflection of the color of the clothes onto the face visually creates a makeup look in a natural makeup look. So sorry to interrupt you.
no, that's perfect. I did forget the next point that I was going to say, however.
Sorry, honey.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Yeah. So it's like, as we get older, we're all going to get some lines on our face, but even then we can work that, like, instead of wearing very like smooth plain fabrics, which might show
Mhm.
up the lines, if you wear something with some texture, the lines seem to reduce a bit, or things with ruching. There are all sorts of wonderful tricks you
Yeah.
can make with clothing. And the thing about, when you have your natural face, you have expression, and that's what has bothered me a little bit about, the current fashion for various fillers and things, is people's faces don't move.
Mm.
They don't have expression. And also, I sometimes make mistakes, like, because they're trying to look younger, like they might be in their mid 40s, but they have no lines or any expression on their face. And I make the mistake and think that they're maybe in their mid or late 20s. And then the next thing is, then I assume they only have the knowledge base of mid to late 20s. Not,
Mm.
I underestimate them, which is a shame. So, I mean, that just might be me. I hope I'm not upsetting anybody who listens, because I do think, of course, it's personal choice, but I think the point you made at the very beginning, a lot of the choice comes from, um, maybe either a wounded place, or a place of worry or fear that you won't be seen as attractive, or maybe that it might affect your employment prospects, which it does in some industries. Like, that there is a focus on youth in some industries, probably particularly, people in the public eye. Um, but I think what we're saying is, we're encouraging people to think, to learn that there are other ways of looking. I mean, I think we still look perfect when you're dressed in your colors and the right styles and the right textures and the right jewelry for you. It's a different type of perfection than the perfection that comes from, um, a cultural image that a person's been presented with.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's about an honoring right? Like culturally, we're not taught to honor ourselves.
No.
Culturally, we're taught to put other people first. We're taught all kinds of different psychological and relational patterning that is the opposite of honoring self. And so for me, this work is about honoring self so that what emanates from self has an impact. And like you were saying, how some industries value youthful appearance, but that might be true, but I think it's about that might be true. And a woman who's in her mid or older years, who's in her vitality and feels her essence, is going to energetically be as youthful as someone in their 20s. And
Mhm.
so I really feel that, look, I know that there's, like you were talking earlier about like pressure that women might feel to color their hair, to have have Botox, have fillers, things like that. Like that is real. And at the same time, I just want to let our conversation be an invitation to, and check out your skin tone, and check out wearing your skin tone, and maybe wear your skin tone the day you're thinking of getting Botox, and ask yourself, do I really want or need Botox? If you're wearing your skin tone, probably not, because it's reflecting to you the coloring and the eye opening that you're probably looking for through Botox. So yeah, it's just an invitation to see things, to see that the field that we're talking about can have really beautiful impact in self-honor and making decisions that are less expensive, more time consuming, not time consuming, just basically you're getting resources by not buying the wrong clothing for the rest of your life, right? And yeah, I just want to be sensitive to the culture and at the same time know that there is another way that you and I have really experienced and know to be true.
Yeah, also, excuse me, I also take your point about the eye opening and how certain colors can really make the eyes pop. Sorry, I've got a little frog in my throat
Oh,
here, so
that's okay.
in a second. But
Yeah.
yeah, all of these things, it's well worth having your, learning about your essence, having your colors, having your colors analyzed, and learning it's not just the colors you wear, it's the certain styles, and it's having everything that is mirroring your natural shapes in your face, like
Yeah.
whether you have naturally curly or straight hair, the colors of your eyes, the colors of your skin tone, all of these things we can work with in terms of like the shapes of the accessories that you have, the types of metals that you wear, the style of the neckline that you wear, everything can enhance your natural essence. And um yeah, as you say, sometimes it's so transformational. I think people are so stunned by the difference that it makes.
Yeah.
And sadly, the predominance of very simplified color systems means that many people don't know that
Mhm.
there is a whole psychological dimension to it when you do it in a more sophisticated way,
Yeah.
that it's not just about the colors you wear. It is much more than that. It's about how you put a whole look together.
Yeah. And I also find that the simplified versions that are out there are very often wrong. Like they're diagnosing, analyzing people as with coloring that actually isn't
It's not.
consistent with their essence. So just putting that out there, that there's the simplified versions are very different from what we're speaking of here. Our lineage is from the Suzanne Cagle lineage, and she was, I didn't know her, she's passed, but my understanding through her book and her lineage is that it's really nature based and really psychological, spiritual based, like you said, the psychological dimension, and coming from really the unification of spirit and earth together.
Yeah, it comes from that
Those-
view
yeah,
that there aren't any mistakes in nature, and just like, the animals and the plants are adapted for the environment that they're in. There's a reason why they're colored a certain way or shaped a certain way.
yeah,
It's for a certain purpose. Then
exactly.
we should consider as living beings the same laws of nature also apply
Yes,
to us. So there's no
exactly.
such thing as a person who's a mistake. The shape of your nose, the shape of your lips, the color of your eyes, and the color of your hair, they all actually do match.
Yes,
Once you learn to see it, and yeah, it's learning to see it and taking your attention off what, external standards.
exactly.
External standards. It's like, no, you're perfect.
Yes,
Everybody's perfect. And everybody, there's something in everyone to be expressed. And it's only by each person expressing their natural essence and understanding their own gifts. If every single one of us showed up like that, then I mean, why would there be a world that was created if every single person wasn't like one facet of the
yeah,
whole, and every single person has a role to play? And
exactly.
that when you show up in your colors and dress to enhance your colors, you're actually giving a gift to other people. Other people start to see,
Yeah,
oh, yes, that looks fantastic on her. Maybe I could learn to do that too,
yeah,
without having to, well, actually, as you said, without having to spend huge amounts of money on cosmetic procedures, that money might be better spent in your wardrobe or on a nice piece of jewelry that lasts forever, not in a procedure that's only going to last for weeks or months,
yeah,
maybe years in some cases if it's surgery, but none of them last forever.
yeah, yeah. And
Well,
visually, when we attune our visual prowess to what we're speaking of, there's so much beauty around us. There's so much beauty in the trees that I earn behind you right now. There's so much beauty everywhere, including each other. Um, so really seeing the beauty rather than that which we think is wrong, which is, as you said, based on conditioning and cultural norms. So anyway, in order to get started here, it's about having Catherine or I or someone else in the Cahill lineage um, analyze your particular coloring. And Catherine and I spend more 5 hours plus on the analysis. So it's not a simplified or simple endeavor. And if it interests you, then reach out to me at marthavibrance at icloud.com or catherinerowan.com. Is that right?
yes, catherinerowan.com is my
Yeah.
website, but I'll put the information below the video
Okay.
so that people can
Awesome.
see that. And also Martha and I also run, we do palettes individually, but we also run a small group program that we do together called Styling Strategies.
Yeah, which is a 3 month really fun endeavor to embody and learn and um, go to the next level with your palette and design. Um, and then the last thing I want to say is just like anyone who's watching this, if you're like wanting sort of like whatever you're wanting in like if you're wanting like more career growth or to create love relationship or like whatever it is that you're wanting to be creating in life, this could be a puzzle piece in that for you because um looking at self from this vantage point can really allow you to become magnetic for that which you want and for your innate gifts that are natural, those gifts that you have that aren't difficult to find or difficult, like it's just your natural gift to the world can really come alive and be expressed so that you become a magnet for what you want.
Yeah, I'd love to just add one last point to that as well. That this is actually, for many women, a really healing process to go through.
Yeah.
If you have got caught up in, all the external standards, and most of us have at you know, certainly when were younger, but, you know, can also be as you get older, maybe, you know, start worrying about aging and things like that. Um, but this can be a really healing process. And often I think can be helpful for women if they get to the point of thinking, do you know what? It's getting harder and harder work to keep coloring up the gray.
Yeah.
Maybe I should experiment with going gray. Or they get to the point of they've had, you know, various, you know, been in the habit of various cosmetic treatments and actually want to stop and don't know how and don't know what to replace it with. There's so much through this process that you actually learn about beauty and essence and yes, I think the word is it's a healing journey to go through from in many different ways to
So
really
much.
attune to essence and start to see that it's a lifelong journey, that as you get older, it's about learning to enhance your essence and taking the focus off, oh, I'm looking old.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you so much for this beautiful conversation. And those of you who've been patient with us and watched till the end, thank you so much for your presence. And we look forward to hearing from you if any of this resonates. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha.